Hello, welcome back to Quantitative Gems. Today we're going to go through an example setup, how to get set up to really start doing the quantitative and technical analysis work. So some prerequisites: you need to have the VisualWorks PUL or commercial product installed. You've downloaded and installed the example code, and actually right now we're going to download AXP data, which is the symbol for American Express. So remember, before we showed you to go to Yahoo Finance, click in AXP, historical data. Let's get 5 years of data, for example, daily, yes, apply, and download that. You can download the file. After you've downloaded it, move it from your downloads folder, wherever you downloaded it to your quant data folder. So it should look like this: axp.csv. In our previous screencast, we downloaded SPX.csv, which is the S&P 500 daily data. Now, start the product. You go to your image directory. Remember our Quant Example 1 image. We start it up. Close this down. I'm going to move this over so we can see things better. And actually, I'm going to move this out of the way. Now, part of the code I set up installed this icon right here, which says Browse Quant Work. This icon opens up everything in the system, and this one just focuses on the work that we've installed for these examples. So you can click on that to quickly access our specific code. So we did that. If you click on CST Security, then the security class, okay. Now in Smalltalk there's an instance side and a class side. An instance side, so for example, an instance of a stock is an actual stock like American Express. The class side is the factory where you can say create a new instance of a stock. So sometimes if you want to get something general for all instances, you'll find it on the class side. And also security is the superclass. Index and stock are subclasses of security. Every security has a symbol, name, description, daily data, country, and tags, or can have these. So let's go to the class side of security. Remember, this is the package, this is the class. These are categories of methods, and these are the actual methods, which is the code. We want to look at something called data directory. Mine is set to return the string, single quotes, D:\\CST data. I'm going to change that to what we said right here. We placed our data in D quant data. So I'm actually going to copy this, come here. If I double click just inside the single quote, it highlights what's inside there, and do a Control V. Now I can right click the mouse and accept. Another thing I can do is a Control S. So you'll save that and you can verify that. If you go to another method and then back to here, you'll see it's what we set that to. This is so we can find our data in our examples in the proper place. Okay, next come back to our launcher, and we're going to open up a workspace. You can open up the workspace. Then we want to find a workspace. We're going to say open. Then you are going to navigate to QuantBase Code1. And notice we have a workspace.ws called QuantBase Setup. We're going to click on Open, and here we have that. So this is some code in a workspace. It's like a scratchpad area. So I can say to the stock, load the Dow Jones Industrial Average components file. Let's highlight that. I could run it, print the results, run it, and inspect the results with an inspector. I'm going to choose Debug. This brings me into a Smalltalk debugger, one of the magic pieces, and lets me walk through. So this is step into the code, run the code, and run over iterations. So I've stepped into the code. I can see, okay, my directory, D technician data. I'm going to update that. That's not actually what I want. I'm going to highlight this, backspace over it, and say self. Remember the data directory we just fixed? Data directory. Okay, once it finds it, I can click on tab. This is the autocomplete. Period. Control S, or right click and accept to save it. Now I can step over this. And this is what happens when you have an error in your debugger. So okay, so don't be too alarmed when you see something like this. We've had something go wrong. So what went wrong? Well, I'm on the class side right now, and I'm saying self class. That's wrong. Actually, I just want to say self data directory. So let's correct that. Control S to save it, and then let's start walking through again. Data directory. Okay, let's see what that was set to. That's set to the temporary variable dir, and there it is. What we changed it to right here. Directory as file name construct dowindustrials.csv. That's the file that we placed in there. If that was set up properly, I will get a read stream, which is a stream which can read through the file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first line. I'm going to say read stream through the character carriage return. And that'll be the first line from the file. Let's look at it, columns. So I brought up the file that we're reading just in case. So what do we have? We have columns, and that looks like this: symbol, name, last change. And that's exactly what we have right here. Since we know we have 30 stocks, ordered collection, new 30, you can just create new and it'll grow automatically. But a good programming practice, if you know the exact size, it's more efficient just to set that. So DGIA stocks, the read stream at end, while that's false, get the next line, read stream through character, carriage return, get the comma separated value tokens. So now I can see the tokens. My first token is the symbol, name, and the other data right here. We're just going to use a couple. We're going to take the tokens first and the token second. So the name, the symbol, and the name, and we're going to create a stock. And now I can actually look at that stock. It's a CST stock, Apple. I can look. The symbol is this. Name is this. Other things are not set yet because we don't have the data. We're just setting the symbol and the name. And to these, we're going to add the stock. We're going to do that for all of them. Now, if I want to do all of these and I want to run execute down to here, I can click on this, run to caret, and I've done it. Now let's look at my DGIA stocks. I've got all of them that are in that file. Let's complete that. Okay, we've done that. Come back. Two ways to get the stock. I can say to the stock dictionary, add AXP, but I wanted a shortcut because I like things really succinct and terse. So I can say to the symbol begins with a pound sign, AXP security. So let me show you this way first. Well, let me highlight this and inspect it, and we get our American Express stock, and this will do the same thing. Inspect it. Gets the same instance. And I can put that into a temporary variable right here, stock. Let's execute that. And if it's a workspace variable, so if I come to variables and look at stock, it's just what I expect it to be. Next, stock load daily data file. Okay, so how do we load the daily data? That file that we placed right there, AXP, load daily data file. Let's take a quick look. So if it says first, now we're on the instance side, so we can say self-class data directory. Let's confirm that. And then we're going to construct my symbol.csv. So let's see what that looks like. Quant data axp.csv, that's what I want. And this, I won't go through all this, but we're essentially going to go through and create a daily datum that has the date, open, high, low, close, adjusted close, and volume, and then add that. So let me skip down through that. It's done that. It's created my list of dailies. Let's take a look at one. Date, open, high, low, close, and volume, and adjusted close. That's what came in the file. And then I'm going to create a series, which is another object from those dailies, for my daily data, which is an instance variable in the stock. So here is all the data, the daily data for that. Now I can ask questions of this object. We'll see that in a moment. So we've done that. Now I can see the stock daily data, which we just looked at. Let's take a quick look again. Come to basic. We see what's in it. We see the data, the dates, highs, lows, closes, all nil. That's because it will cache these as needed. So stock closes. Let's see what that does. Self daily data closes. We can actually improve that by saying this. If we want to cache it, it's actually not caching it, although it was designed to be cached. Return closes, which is an instance variable that I can find. I take that back. Daily data itself is caching them. So self daily data closes. That's what I wanted. Closes, if it's nil, we're going to get the dates and we're going to collect from each date of the close. So right now closes is nil. So we're going to get our dates and we're going to get each close and create a new series in closes. Now every time it calls this, it'll simply use the cached value, so it won't need to recreate this. If we're doing some analysis, we might be getting the closes again and again and again, so we don't want to recreate it each time. But we could even clear the caches if we wanted to free up some space. So we got the closes. We can do the same for lows. Let's inspect it. Boom, that's now cached. Dates and data and volumes. So we can do the same for going to CST Index. Let's walk through this. SPX Indexes dictionary. Do we have one? Well, we don't. It's going to create a new identity dictionary. It's empty. If it's absent, we're going to create the symbol SPX and the name S&P 500. Okay, we've done that. And now we've set it. Let's take a look in the variables at SPX. There it is. Name, S&P 500, symbol, SPX. Back to here. We can load the daily data file. Do that. And we can get our SPX closes. Let's check that out. Wow, from 1927 all the way down to our current time. And that's an intro. That's basically the setup. We have the data now to do some analysis. So next Quantitative Gems, we're going to do some analysis. If you have any questions, suggestions, problems, please contact me at athomas@cincom.com. Until next time, have a great time with Quantitative Gems.